What's up guys? Welcome to the 3800 Daily. And today we're going to go over how to do a proper wire repair. Ensuring you do a proper wire repair is going to ensure of a few things, a few crucial things. It's going to make sure that you don't have module failure, you don't short or ground, and most importantly, you don't burn your ride to the ground, man. There are a couple of ways that you can do a proper wire repair. However, I've been doing this for a couple of years and I did it for a living. In case some of y'all didn't know what I did, I was an ADAS calibrations and an electrical diagnostics technician. Basically, I programmed computers in cars and repaired wire harnesses. So there are a few tools that you're going to need to ensure a good, proper wire repair. You're going to need solder, a soldering gun, a wire stripper, and some heat shrink, preferably heat shrink that is lined with glue. This will help ensure a proper watertight seal. All of these tools necessary to do these repairs, I'm going to link in the description. You can get them all simply from Amazon. So why am I showing y'all how to do wire repairs right now? Well, that's simple. I just got done completing a 14-pin connector for the 4T80E. So you have your transmission side wire harness, and then you have the body harness that comes from the car. Those two connectors, although they are the same faces and they will just plug and play, sometimes your transmission that you get from the junkyard might not have the connector on it, so you're gonna have to wire one up. I'll show y'all a little bit more about that later on in a different video. But for now, let's learn how to solder wires. So here are the tools you're gonna need. Soldering gun, wire crimpers, solder, and some heat shrink. So we're gonna demonstrate on this yellow wire here. So let's say you're going down the road and you hit something and, oh no, your wire broke. Well, let's fix this. Just remember that repairing a wire can cause resistance. So when you have sensitive circuits or bus circuits, this can be an issue. So first what we want to do is start by stripping the wire on both ends of the brake. Don't strip too much, don't strip too little. Just remember that what you do strip is a little bit of wire length you're going to lose. After you're done stripping your wire, make sure you twist the ends, so that way they don't fray. Cool, we've got our ends twisted. Now if this is a wire that doesn't have ends where you can slip something onto it, now is the best time to go ahead and put on some of your heat shrink. Cut off enough that's going to be able to sleeve the brake, and go ahead and slip it on one end. Make sure you slide it far away from your repair, because this wire will get a little hot sometimes. Now that we've twisted both ends, we're going to now twist them together. Make an X and twist. It should now look like this. Make sure you don't have any frays sticking up that could puncture your heat shrink. It's time to break out our solder gun. This solder gun is by Power Probe, definitely one of my favorites. It's butane powered, so there's no wires or cables. This is the tip that I like to use. It's pretty good at holding on to solder. A few things you need to know about this solder gun is that it's going to have an exhaust port right here. This blows out really hot air and will melt anything near it. So point this away from your hands and other wires. We're going to go ahead and turn it on and ignite it. Make sure your gas is turned up halfway. You're going to get your solder gun and put a little bit of solder on the tip after it gets nice and hot. Make sure you pull it up to where you got a good bubble and place that bubble on your wire. Let's hold it there for a little bit to let this wire right here get nice and hot. Once it gets nice and hot, you should be able to start spreading your solder down the wire. Doing this, your solder is going to melt into the frays and the twists of your repair, keeping it all together. Please note that this smoke is toxic, so if you have any respiratory issues, make sure you wear a mask. And look at that. You've got a soldered wire, but we're not done yet. Remember that bit of heat shrink we put on this wire? Let's go ahead and slide that over. You know how the exhaust port we talked about that was very hot? We're going to use that now to shrink our heat shrink. So let's go ahead and do that. you'll notice that how some of the glue is coming out the ends. This is going to keep your heat shrink from sliding off, and it'll also keep water out. And voila, a fixed wire. Doing it this way is going to ensure a good, proper connection. Using those little crimp connectors, sometimes those will vibrate loose, sometimes they'll just fall off, and you can't ever be sure that you've got a good crimp on them. But this is a surefire way to make sure that you don't have problems with that wire in the future. Got a better way to do it? Let me know in the comments below. I know there's a bunch of different ways that it can do it, and I know there's a bunch of you guys out there that are very proficient in wire repair. Tips and pointers are always helpful. And until then, drive easy.